that is paint that I'm peeling off. I'm unpainting. So on today's video, I literally just finished. If I'm like, look, I just got out of the shower because I just finished this piece, and it's been this. It's been a thing that happened. So on today's video, I am reviving a vintage dresser slash vanity, not dresser, desk slash vanity, and this is for the Unique Antique Vintage Revival Challenge hosted by Crystal with Crafty Creech DIYs and Andy at Flip Pop. And be sure to check down in the description below to find the playlist to watch all of the videos for this challenge. And my dog's being cute. This video almost didn't make it in because there were several times where I just felt like I can't do this, and I doubted myself, and I was like, oh, this isn't gonna work, it's not gonna be good. And I just finally was like, okay, I'm gonna do this. I need to finish this. I've been messing around with it for a really long time. And so my video is in late, but it's done. The piece is done. That's the big thing. It's done. So I hope you're ready to find out what Heather did today. Okay, so the story behind this desk slash vanity is it was given to me by a good friend of mine, and she had painted it white. It was her grandmother's, I think, and it had this cherry finish, and she had painted it white. It was just white latex paint for her daughter. It used to have a piece of glass that sat on front. The top, this to that's broken, and the mirror that used to be attached is long gone. But she gave it to me, said, we don't want it, whatever you want to do, have fun. And I was like, absolutely. So you can see the drawers all work, so that's a big thing. And I can't really see damage right now because of all the paint. So it's time to, keep going and find out what happens. What will this reveal? Also, can we talk about that 701 cents? So it has this stool. The stool goes with it. That's probably going to be another video because I haven't found fabric for it yet. And then there was also this dresser, but I'm not doing that. I think that's called a tall boy. I'm not done with that yet. I haven't started that yet. Okay, so you can see the drawers are actually in pretty good shape. Some stuff in there. I think that was probably lip gloss based on the color. It's kind of sticky. But really, they all work. There's some woodworm damage. So I'd already sprayed that. Actually sprayed it a couple times just to be sure. So I had some holes to fill from that. But nothing too bad. It looked like there had also been some repairs already done. So I think like the drawers had already been kind of repaired at some point. And this one, look, eyeshadow. You can tell it belonged to a little girl. And then it was time to get on to stripping. I decided to try stripping first. And this was also a funny story. This was a cloudy day, cool, chance of rain, cloudy. I was like, perfect. And then the sun comes out. I was also almost out of stripper here. This was okay. It did pretty good at loosening the latex paint. See, look, it got sunny. And so then I'm trying to strip in full sun, and it was drying the stripper. It was great. So, it worked okay, but it didn't get the finish underneath, which luckily for me was pretty much intact, because that meant the latex paint wasn't stuck on there so great. It was pretty easy to get off. Look at that wood. Do you see what I see? Oh, it's so pretty. And I'm not very good with most species, but I think that might be mahogany. I don't know. Might not be. It's beautiful, whatever it is. So then I tried scraping. And latex paint is quite smooth on the top. So that was interesting. Like I was getting layers of paint off, but I wasn't getting the majority of the paint. And there's some veneer damage along the top, so I have to repair that. The paint was covering it. And then I finally start like catching the paint, and I was able to get through it. So, yay! Okay, so here's where I am. This was definitely done in stages. Like I would work until I got tired. You can see also on the top where the first like bit of stripper was kind of put down. It went all the way through the layers. The rest did not. I had to scrape and scrape and scrape and scrape and scrape and scrape. And sand. So I started scraping this. Very careful of the edges because I can't really see how much damage is done. Like if there's any veneer damage underneath. And I don't want to make anything worse. So I tried stripper on these, and it's a different stripper than I was using, and it works okay to get this out, but wasn't great. It was okay. There was a lot of back and forth between stripping and scraping. Okay, you ready? Wait, watch, listen. Actually watch, don't listen. Oh. It was so satisfying. So there were parts where this was really easy to do with that. Also I bought one of those other scraper kits that has the different shaped heads. Like there's a teardrop shape and a slightly curved and a really pointy. And I have no footage of me using that. None. And I used it on all these like edges on the front and everywhere else. I have nothing. I also bought one of these little pick tools and picked paint. It's like a montage of me picking paint out of details. I will say this. She did a very, very good job painting everywhere. She did not miss any spots. So, very good job with the paint. And you can see how dinged up, which makes sense. I mean, whew, this is an old desk, and this is, the legs get all sorts of beat up. So that's going to be stripper. Hopefully not make it too much worse. And then see where we go from there. Okay, time to start on the drawers. Now, this hardware, I love this hardware. It needs to be cleaned, but I love it. I think it's perfect for this piece, so I will be keeping it and fixing it up and reusing it. 100%. Look, right now I was pretty sure it was going to be anyway, because I'm pretty sure mahogany would be cost prohibitive to be solid, but you'll notice, and this one again, you can see the edges right here, but I'm about to fix that. That's why I'm using this side. You can see the grain here goes this way, and then the grain here goes this way, and so the grain pattern that you see here doesn't continue, so it starts going this way. So this is an edge banding. You also see a chip in the veneer right there. So for the drawers, I started off hand sanding. I think this is 120 grit. Just gently sanding on the front to get, and then I did pick a little bit more paint out. I did not get all the paint out of some of these spots, because honestly I was worried about doing more damage to some of the spots, just trying to get the paint out. So, and then I had glued the drawer back together, but then decided I needed to sand while it was drying. So, you know, it's just, it makes sense. And I hadn't intended to do anything with the sides, but then I decided I should, because some of them had white paint on them. They're in really good shape. The drawers themselves, the inside and outside, the finish was mostly intact, but I decided to sand to get the white paint off, and then on the inside, if there was any white paint, I sanded those too. And then the center drawer, I did sand the bottom because it was kind of in rough shape. The rest were okay, so I left those alone. And then, like PSA on the drawers, always look for pens. This had 2 of them. So then I shellacked the drawers, inside and out. And this, I really don't know if I want to do liners. Like, I thought about it, but most of the bottoms look really good. And it's the same wood, like, I think it's mahogany. I'm not positive though. It's the same wood that's on the top. Like, it's really pretty, so I don't really want to put a liner in. So, okay, so this is the hardware, which I absolutely adore, by the way. But you can see it's plated. The plating is kind of flaking off right there. So I'm going to clean it up, and then I'm gonna spray it with this, because I think that looks pretty. And now I had fully intended to completely sand the base. And then as I started sanding this, I realized that this was the same veneer as the drawers in the top, even though the legs were different. And this is curved, so that's why the sander kind of jumps a little bit. This is 180. I put 180 in my sander, and that was the lowest grit I did using my electric sander. Orbital sander, that's what it's called. And it's so pretty. This is when I'm realizing that it's different, and I'm like, wow, really? So. And if you don't like sanding, I have a trick for you to speed it up. What you do is record yourself in a time-lapse video, and then it goes really fast. Look how fast that is. Again, 180, and I did have another, like a square sander for the corners. And I just cleaned up that edge too, because it was kind of rough from all the years. Okay, for the final sand, I'm doing 220, and this time I hand sanded the corners. Same thing on the top, 220, and the trick is to go slow and make sure your sander stays flat. You don't want to like drop it over the edge and round over those edges, plus you'd burn through the veneer right at the edge, and we don't want to do that. I also sanded the drawers, even though I didn't record it. So here's what I did to kind of help with the edges. Apparently we gotta wait for me to get back down here. Is right here at the edge I kind of lift up, so I make sure not to go over, because I don't want to like tilt my sander. I got to this point and I was really nervous. Now, I did not sand this perfect. You'll notice there's some spots that are still, like I didn't get all the stain and color off, and I could have used oxalic acid and all this other stuff, but this is old and she's been through a lot, and I loved the way this looked. And you can even see there's like a line right there. I loved it. I was okay with all this. I think it's perfect. And I'm sanding glue off the back. Okay, and then I was reattaching this piece that had come off. I had to glue it back together and clean it up, but now I'm reattaching it. So I got the glue and stuff off the edges where it attached, or put some more glue on there, and then got it all carefully positioned and ready to go. And then, yeah, it didn't fire, so I had to check my battery. It was great. But it's fine. It all worked out. Okay, so I realized pretty early on that, like, you can see this repair here. There's this old split that somebody repaired. And there's a couple places that have already been repaired. Some places where the paint just is really in there. Stuff like that. So I did realize pretty early on that I was probably going to be using some paint. And then as I got further along, I could see like this is not the same as this. So, and everything was covered with a toner, which would make it all the same color. Even the drawers, like the veneer, is different colors on the drawers, which is funny. Like, and if you look at this side, that looks different from the other side. So this has all been covered in a coat of shellac, and So I'd already decided that I was going to be painting, but I was like, I don't really want to paint the entire thing and cover everything up. So I saw Angie from Transcend Furniture Gallery do a paint wash and paint piece, and I was like, oh, that's what I want to do. And then I was like, what color am I going to do? So after looking, I decided on this. This is going to be my color, which happens to match. Okay. I think this is perfect. So I know these sections I'm definitely painting. Like here, and then here where I really struggled with paint out. Edges. And then I'm going to try paint washing on these areas to see how it looks. So let's get started and see what happens. Should be fantastic. Also, my son has a friend over and they were trying to be quiet as they ran past. While giggling the entire time. There's my Ollie. He's my little baby. There's a hippie. Yeah. Okay. To be honest, I went back and forth. I looked forever for a color that I liked enough. And I was happy with this. And I'm not gonna lie, I love it. This is perfect. This is exactly what I wanted it to look like. So, I have no more qualms about painting it. If you don't like furniture painted, you should go watch something else. Also, I'm going to remind you that it was painted. Like I unpainted it to paint it again. Ew. Okay, so what I ended up deciding to do, mostly because of the paint here, like along the edges that I just couldn't get, I'm going to, look, there's Ollie. Hi, baby. I'm going to square that off and make a little frame and paint that. Which at first I was really questioning, but then it's perfect. I love it. And I love the way that looks so much, I decided to do the drawers. I was going to paint the, like, back side of the drawer face anyway, because that's always so ugly. Which makes sense. Makes sense, like, manufacturers don't pay attention to that. And I was going to paint the dovetail joints here, too, because there's a lot of white paint and toner and everything else. So I was just going to purdy them up a bit. So, I'm just taping this off, and then I'm using tape as like a spacer, and then I have a little razor that I'm using to hold it down and tear the tape, and then I'll paint it. And this was time consuming, if you're wondering. Yes, it was. Was it worth it? Also, yes. Okay, we are actually getting to the home stretch, so time for me to go through all the things. First of all, please like this video. It helps the algorithm know that I'm putting out good stuff. And subscribe if you think I've earned it. And share, do all the things. Also, if you are interested, I do have a link to my Amazon wishlist and buy me a coffee down in the description, which just helps me make more videos. And buys chew toys for my dogs, because man, those guys are chewers. Also, I really want to know what you think of this color. Like, I cannot tell you how many colors I looked at so many different sites, and I'm so happy. Also, this paint has a built-in top coat, and it is so wonderful to use. Like, it is perfection. I haven't used it before because there's nowhere to buy it locally, so I have to order it, but I will absolutely be doing that ahead of time. And I am not disappointed in the gold. It is perfect. You can see what I said about the drawers. Like, they look good. This one has some paint in it, but overall they look good in the bottom. So anyway, it is about time for me to be done. Hope you like what you're about to see, and I will see you next time. Okay, but do you see what I meant about the veneer on the drawers not matching? Also, I ended up not doing a paint wash because I loved them so much. It makes me so happy. Oh, I hope it makes you happy too. And Batty says hi. And that's all for now, and stay tuned to see what Heather does next time.